Welcome to the Turntable Talk podcast, right? This is basically, I'd like to say it's a podcast for musical discussion, but it's a way for me to force my friends to talk about music with me. Today I have the illustrious Juleia Smith, with me. She's a classmate and a friend of mine and president of the BSU.
Yes,
That's
sir.
important. And today we'll be talking about the album Hive Mind by the Internet. This episode was supposed to be episode 3, but somebody got sick, so.
So it's episode 2.
Those, yeah.
Oh, okay, we're episode 2.
Alright, well, on that note, what album are we we're talking about Hive Mind, but
Yep.
why is Hive Mind by the Internet significant in any way you can think of it? So.
All right. Well, for me, like, honestly, when it comes to my music, I only allow myself to find my music on my own. Like, I don't really like listen to the radio. I don't like really like listen to music with other people. So like all of my music, as far as I know, like I think of my music as my music. Like I don't know if anyone else listens to it or not, but if I like it, like I listen to it for like a super long time. And so I actually started listening to the internet like maybe like 6th or 7th grade, and that album, I just remember I had like one summer or just like a really long period of time where I would listen to it so much.
And this is Hive Mind, right?
This is Hive Mind. Yep. I think I used to like be on Pandora, and I had like their station, and then like Hive Mind was just everywhere, and then I ended up actually like getting off of Pandora and going and listening to Hive Mind on my own and just knowing every single lyric to like every single song, like, and so now I feel like very almost possessive over it. Like that's my Hive Mind is my little album baby.
Right,
Yep.
right. I think I have like the same approach to listening to music. I feel like, although I do like go on social media with it a little bit more, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I like. I usually give to social media, if you feel what I'm saying. I don't really take from it in
Got
terms of
it.
music. Um, yeah, that's a really cool angle. Being that you're the second one to ever answer that question to me, you've answered it very differently
Oh,
than it's been.
really
Yeah. The
interesting.
other podcast he was talking about the way it was significant to the discography of the guy, which is all of their work.
See, yeah, and that's the stuff like I don't know any of that, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you when it came out, but I just remember when I was listening to it, you know. I
Hmm.
just remember that it was like a whole era for me.
Right.
Just listen to the internet.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, as always, this question is kind of implied by the first question. But did you like this album?
Oh, wow. Well, of course I like this album. Yeah, this album I like. It's very different almost from not only their other music. I feel like a lot of their other music is very much like it's very bass heavy, and it's like a lot of like using the bass and just like going nice and slow and smooth, and this one was a lot more funky. It almost like some songs I almost felt like I was in a different time period,
Well.
like yeah, like just with the funkiness of some of the songs, and like also like some of the voices in it. But also I really love that this album, I feel like we got to hear a lot of Sid, and I really love Sid the Kid. I really love her and
Right.
like her voice. So just this album, it just works. It just
Yeah.
works.
I like. I don't like. Not like I was around when a lot of the stuff was coming out, but like a lot of the Odd Future stuff where she would come and do like backup vocals. It's always like it's like a treat to have her on the song.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. I know what you mean with liking Sid the Kid.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah. I forgot what my caveat was gonna be, but I like this album as well. Actually, you said it was less bass heavy. I think maybe I get where you're coming from. I think maybe I think it's I think. So I feel that it is more of just a different type of bass.
Yeah, I
Like,
think. Sorry, go ahead. Are you done?
you can go. Just go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I agree that it definitely does still have bass, but I think in the other songs, it seems like the bass is like the main like the main part of the beat, but in this album it's also super heavy on the drums, super heavy on the snaps and the claps, and so I hear a lot of that like when I'm listening to it, rather than in like, for instance, like Girl, like it's do do do, like a lot, you know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
feel like this album also has more of like a weird instrumental feel in a way. Like a lot of them way back when the band started, it was just Sid and Matt, so it was mostly like virtual instruments, right?
Yeah, that's sick.
Synth bass and stuff. So yeah, now that they have a full band, or they've had it for a while, but now that they do, it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
What was your favorite song off this album?
Oh, that was a really hard question for me. Like,
That's easy for me. I'll tell you.
I
real
was
quick.
trying to skip through them, and I was like, geez, but at the end of the day, like after listening to them, I was like, it's definitely got to be Hold On.
Right.
I mean, I guess it's kind of similar to what I was saying. I guess it kind of disagrees with the other point I was making, but that one specific song where they do get more bass heavy, that super slow bass build up, it's getting louder, and then Sid's voice coming, and it's so like sensual and like slow and soft and feminine. Like, oh my gosh, that song gets me every time.
I know what you mean. I really like that song.
It's-
And the thing is, it's a 6 minute song. It's a long song,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
never like gets old.
It never gets old. Oh my god, that's exactly my big thing with the internet, because usually I listen to like I'll get obsessed with a song for like a few days or a few weeks, and then I forget about it, but the internet like never gets old. Like every time it comes on, I'm still vibing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, for me, I like Come Over a lot.
Oh,
Come Over is like my favorite song off the album.
close second.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it, not a lot of it, because obviously it's a really great song, but the music video for it is really good.
Oh my god,
I love that music
that
video.
music video.
I like when music videos do like narratives. A lot of music
Yes.
videos don't do narratives and ends up looking boring. I feel
Mhm.
like a lot of music videos just aren't good.
Nowadays it's mostly aesthetic that they're trying to achieve, where like I feel like and honestly I can say the same thing just in rap in general. Like if you listen to some older stuff, you'll notice they did a lot more storytelling. Like they would take you through the day, like It Was a Good Day by like, you know,
Ice
he's
Cube.
going through his whole day, and like nowadays they don't really tell stories, they just pick a topic and like kind of come up with random things to say about it. It's
Yeah.
like it feels more like a shock value thing. Like you're gonna be like, oh, what are they gonna rhyme? What are they gonna rhyme? And then you'll be like, oh, okay, that was nice. Whereas like how the internet does it, it's more of a slow build up. It's like, oh, like I feel like I'm really getting to know these like characters and like the artists rather than just what they like.
Right. What would you say is your least favorite song?
Okay, that was super hard too, because I definitely don't have any of these. I don't think there's any song on this album that I'd be like, skip. Like maybe on a specific day, like if I'm going for a specific, but usually like I'll play all of them. But I would have to say, if I had to choose, probably where is it? Look What You Started.
I think I might be the same.
Yeah, okay. It's just because personally, like I don't really listen to like the only genres that I don't really like to listen to very much is like pop, like dubstep, and like or like techno, country, and then some, or you know, or like some of the like older stuff, but like older pop, like, you know, it just rubs me the wrong way sometimes. And like that song is very fast, it's a lot of drums, not a lot of bass, and it's like and like I don't know, I like to vibe more than like kind of like jump around, like. And also it doesn't have Sid singing a lot in it. That
Right.
was one of the main things I noticed, is that I don't know who's singing, I'm not exactly sure who it was, but it's a male voice and it's like deep and like slow, whereas I'm more into, I love Sid's voice. Like
Wait, which song are you talking about?
I said Look What You Started.
I
Is
think
that the right
Sid's,
one?
Yeah, I think you are you thinking about Roll Burbank Funk?
My bad, that's the one. My bad, it was at the top.
Yeah, that's actually Steve Lacy singing on that.
That's
one.
what I thought it was Steve, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's my least favorite track, but that's not one of my favorites.
But yeah,
either.
it's like, it's okay. Like I can still listen to it, but the other ones I'm like, yeah.
I like the music video for that one though because of all of the cameos in it. Like Tyler's in it, Thundercat's in
Oh,
it,
right.
Mac DeMarco's in it. I don't know if you listen to him.
I
He's fun.
do.
Yeah, I love Mac DeMarco. The first podcast was on Mac DeMarco.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Well, for me, my least favorite song is I think maybe it's Bravo. I think where a lot of the album is like nice and slow and chill, Bravo I think gets too slow.
A little
for
too
me.
slow.
Yeah, not that I don't like it.
You I think, you know what, I actually had went through an experience where like I ended up relating to that song. Like it was really similar to the thing that I was experiencing at the time, and that is when I grew the liking to the song, because when you don't really relate to the lyrics, like it being that slow, it's just like okay, whatever. But when you are relating to the lyrics and it just sounds like she's saying it, like, and like you feel it, it's like that's when I started to like that song. But I think if I didn't have like that little connection to it, yeah, it can get pretty slow. It's just like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is this your favorite project from the internet?
I think so. I mean, like, I like a lot of their other singles. Like, let's see. Like, I think probably the first song I found was, I think it was Girl.
That's what I was gonna bet.
Yeah, because I think I used to listen, back in my Pandora days, I used to listen to, what's her name? Kaylani. I used to listen to one of her radios, and then Girl came on, and like also this is when I was still like a little like closeted and stuff, and so hearing a song and it was a woman singing about a girl, like I don't know, and then it was groovy, so I was
Right.
like okay, and I think that was probably one of the first ones, so I have this little attachment to that. But Ego Death is good too, but I think Hive Mind is the album where it's like every song is a hit to me.
Right.
Whereas Ego Death, like some of them I'm really into them, some of them I'm like, it's alright, I might skip it, you know.
I know what you mean. Although, well, yeah, I would say that Hive Mind is definitely my favorite project of theirs. I haven't listened to past Ego Death. I didn't listen to what is it, Feel Good, or I think it was Purple Naked Ladies. Was the first one.
Yeah, I listened to some of that.
I have yet to listen to those, but my sister always talks about Ego Death like it put them on the map, which I get that, you know, Girls off of Ego Death. I think it did put them on the map. It got Grammy nominated, that's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know. I listened to it in its entirety, and like it's not as consistent as Hive Mind. It's not as concise.
Exactly.
All of that good stuff. I think as a total package, Hive Mind is just the best thing they've done so far.
I would agree.
Right. Is there any song on Hive Mind that you consider to be underrated? I've got an answer loaded for this one.
Ooh, actually, you want to go first on this one? Because I might have to think about that. I want to hear what you're going to say.
Well, I mean, always when I say underrated, my little sister's doing that. Always when I say underrated, I mean like relatively, because I don't really, there's no way to gauge it. Always you could look at the numbers, but I don't
Yeah,
care.
you know, I got you.
But for me, I would say Wannabe is one of, like, the underrated gem on this track for me. I feel like nobody plays Wannabe. It plays at the end of the La Di Da music video, where to close that video off, they play Wannabe. I just really like it. It's really like, it's sweet, it's mellow. I would say with I don't know what instrument that is that they use. I think it's probably just a guitar, but it does sound a little weird compared to the rest of the album. It's not as uniform, but I do like it for its mood. Yeah.
Oh, I think I can't remember exactly how that song goes right now, the one that you mentioned, which I guess kind of proves your point about it being underrated, because I'm like, honestly, like with me, especially when I listen to albums like in their entirety, like I have a hard time deciphering which songs are which ones, like unless it like explicitly has like the title in the song, you know. So I might love that song, but I won't remember right now. But I think one of my favorites that's I'd say is like almost underrated is probably Mood.
That's what I said was my least favorite, so yeah.
That's your least. That's funny.
Wait,
yeah.
no. It was Look What You Started. You're right.
Yeah. Wait, I was like, no, Mood. Like,
I think mood is good.
Trying to get you in the right mood. Yes. Oh my gosh. I think, like, okay, like obviously I relate to Sid on a certain level because I'm pretty sure she's lesbian, right?
I'm definitely
she
sure
like
she's
okay,
lesbian. She's
I'm
got
not
a girlfriend, so I'd assume so.
I don't know if she identifies necessarily as a woman, but as far as I know, like she's lesbian and I'm a lesbian, and like I always talk about how I feel like lesbian love and like also like the more sensual side of it is just so much different than like heterosexuals, and like I can really feel exactly what I mean, like with the way that she speaks, with the way that she says like she's talking to these people, with the way like the things that she says about them, her tone, her demeanor, like everything. It's very gay. It's very gay, and like in the best way. Like it makes me feel like it's perfect. It's honestly perfect. And I think in that song, like, and it's also kind of a big deal. Like when I first heard it, I was like, whoa, like women can make songs
This
about
exists?
women.
Whoa.
Like that, like, and they're not like being like banned, like, you know, like this is a thing. Like it was kind of crazy for me to discover, like, oh, this is like there's people out here that are making stuff for us, you know. And so yeah, I really think that that song is probably once again a personal connection type thing, but I just love that song and Sid's voice and everything she says in that song. I was actually showing one of my friends like last night. I was sending her all these videos of me just singing the lyrics and being like, listen to the lyrics of this song, because the lyricism is insane. It's literally insane.
Right.
But yeah.
I think that's a fair point, to have the emotional connection to them. That's kind of how music works, I guess. And I think it's pretty dope that you do have such a personal connection to, I don't know, Mood specifically and Sid specifically, but the album as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like when people interact with music in that way. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. In what way do you think the album represent or exemplifies the idea of its namesake, Hive Mind, or a Hive Mind? Because yeah, I've got ideas on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this one pretty short because once again, like going back to like how I don't really engage with the band so much, like I've never seen like why they named it that, but I can use context clues, and like when I think of Hive Mind, like I just think of like, you know, just that collaborativeness and that just coming together as one. And I think that's honestly what tops it off about this band, is because a lot of them have their own individual music. Like I'll even listen to Matt Martian, right?
Yeah.
His little album that he put out, like, and their music, like I still enjoy their music separately, but just together, like it's crazy how many people are out here listening to Steve, listening to Sid, listening to Matt, but not listening to the internet, because like it is insane the way that they come together. They make music that like I've never heard anybody else make, and like it just works. Like you can tell like it's just a natural thing for them. So yeah.
Right. I do like the angle you took with it, with the you know, the band being just better together, and I do see that. I guess, but thematically, except for, you know, the song "Come Together," where it's literally, I forget what a lot of the in-between lyrics are, but the chorus is, you know, they gonna get us to come together, right? Apart from that, I don't really like see that at all. I feel like that's one of my like gripes with this album. It's weird how I love this album so much. It's one of my favorite albums, but like, kind of doesn't make any sense. Like, just
That's a good point. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the themes, I feel like with Ego Death, a lot of the songs sounded like psychedelic and trippy, and I guess you could kind of get what they were getting at with Ego Death. But with Hive Mind, I'm not saying they have to do anything specifically Hive Mind, but I think thematically they have to, I guess, talk about how they interact as a group a little more. That's what I'm saying. Maybe have Patrick Page on more tracks.
Oh my
He was
gosh.
on like the back end of one. He's a good rapper. I like one of his albums a lot.
Patrick Page, yeah,
Yeah.
I listened to some of him. I think Red Knife, I think that's him. I don't
Yeah.
know if you know that song.
Yeah, Daisy's on that one as well. She's cool.
Yeah,
Whenever she does
that's
a feature,
a
she's great.
super good song. It's a super good song.
Yeah. That being said, what do you think if not being a hive mind, what do you think the central theme of this album is?
Um, I think, I mean, it almost relates to the hive mind idea a little bit, but I do think, like, back to the storytelling thing, I feel like each song I am like getting to know one part of the band, like one
Like it's
part
a
of their experiences, like one thing that they do, or one band member. Like it's like an
like
insight.
a series of vignettes, you thinking?
Yes, yeah, and then like I mean, I kind of feel like that's supported through their music videos and the way that they make it very like almost like a movie, almost like you're watching a movie or a short film or something like that. And so it feels like there's a message, like something to follow along, and it's really, I feel like that's what draws me in, is like kind of the more I've listened to it, like I've uncovered more, you know, like understood more, and I feel like I've gotten to know the artist solely through their music, which is like really hard to do. So I feel like they did a really good job artistically, like getting like their stories and their personalities out just through their lyrics, through their songs, through their vibes. Like I think that's the idea that they're going for.
Understood. Yeah, I think I would kind of agree. I think it's kind of like Frank Ocean's album Channel Orange, where he said, you know, like that album, he's not literally a super rich kid, and nothing else plays back into the song Super Rich Kid. It's
Yeah.
kind of just a series of individual stories that he liked, or he said he wanted to craft like a director does.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was his basically creative goal with that album,
Yeah.
and it works very well because they all vaguely relate to him, but like not exactly, obviously.
Yeah, it's almost mysterious because you're like seeing all these little snippets of a person, but none of them really match up. So you're like trying to put the puzzle together, but it's just like
What's real?
adding new pieces every day,
Yeah.
and you're just like, none of these make sense, but I'm getting somewhere. So
Yeah, that's a good little discussion on that question. I think that's a good way to take that question.
thank you.
All right. Well, more specifically, on the song La Di Da, Sid tells the story of her escape from unwanted attention at a party. Has there ever been a situation or someone that you just had to get away from and tell that story?
This is very interesting. Well, kind of like more in a romantic sense, do you mean?
You could take the question any direction. I have like a really lame answer for this one because I don't know, it's kind of hard for me. I don't really talk to people now.
I got you. Well, I mean, just unwanted attention in general. I mean, I guess I could kind of relate it. Like, I have a really good way of relating everything back to my sexuality and my race. Because, I mean, shit, like, it changes stuff, you know? And so I think the hardest part, kind of like to relate it back to my sexuality, the hardest part about me coming out, like, as a lesbian wasn't admitting that I liked girls, but admitting that I didn't like boys. Because I feel like when I tell people, oh, I'm gay, the first question if it's a man, usually, the first question they're gonna ask me is, oh, like you're bi, or like, oh, like you're like gay, like, you know, like they always want to know, oh, but do you also like boys, you know? And once like they find out that I'm like, yeah, like I'm gay, that's what I mean, then they like get like weird, they try to like invalidate me and like be like, nah, like you just need to do this. And like, you know, so I think like that was one of the hardest parts. Like I kind of knew that I liked girls a long time ago, but to admit that like I really didn't like boys, and that it was really just like kind of what the world has conditioned me to like and believe that I liked, like that was really hard to kind of get out of the clutches of like looking at everything, like doing things for the male gaze,
Right,
and like always
right.
trying to be a people pleaser towards men, and just to be able to finally be like, you know what, like I'm not here for y'all, like I'm not here to perform for y'all, like I'm here to do what I want to do and be with who I want to be with, and like I don't care what you guys think about it, you know. And so I mean, obviously, like that's me taking that's a very figurative like take on that song, because she's being more specific, talking about a specific situation. But
I think it's like kind of the same though.
yeah, exactly, like it's kind of like the bigger picture that she might be maybe trying to get at, you know. But at least that's personally like what I would think of is just like getting out of the grasps of like the male gaze.
Right.
Just, I gotta get away so I can be my own self.
Right. I liked how you emphasized like the male gaze, because I really think that's what that song is about. Although it's kind of like it's you can extrapolate it to the male gaze. It's about a specific story, but such and such. That was a really good, like, you kind of hit it out of the park with that question.
Thank you,
It's like
Chelsea.
it was like a parallel. Your experience is like parallel with the song, or at least how I view the song. It's like the same. It's like
Okay,
the same.
cool. Okay, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if that's just me or if like that's what she's trying to do, but that's what I was picking up.
Yeah, I would say definitely not just you. That's kind of the song. That's kind of the song.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't really have one as interesting as you for that question. Like maybe in a more like extremely literal sense, like getting away from my little cousins at a party. I'm not trying to kick it with all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, we can move on. That was I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
On the song "It Gets Better with Time," well, the song is a heartwarming message to Sid's past self. You know, assuring her that her present troubles would come to pass, right? And in some interviews, Sid talked about how, like, it was really like that serious. Like she was kind of suicidal, in the time period that she's talking about. She was like really, really messed up, and so knowing where she got to, she wanted to say that to her younger self, like it gets better with time, right? Is there any, but like, let me look at the verbatim real quick. If you could speak to your past self, what would you tell them, and when would you tell them that stuff?
Honestly, and actually it might be influenced by this song. I will say definitely music plays a huge part of my a huge role in my life and every part of it. And so I definitely think some of my growth, I can definitely account it to like this group and the music that I was listening to at the time, because to me music is healing. Like hearing other people like that you can relate to and you're going through the same struggles, like that's healing to me. So in that song, like I honestly, like I think about this a lot. I talk to my younger self a lot because I mean, Jossie, you knew me in middle school. Like me and Jossie, right? Did you? You were trying to take middle, right?
I went to your school. Right. We didn't talk a lot, but like I knew you.
No, but like you saw me, like you could probably pick up on some of the little dynamics that I was in. Just like
you thought I listened to anime music, man. That hurt.
I said that.
You said that to me. You were like, "Don't you listen to like anime music?" When I told you, like, when I was singing that song by Cardi B and Bruno Mars, like "Trippin' in Finesse," you were like, "Whoa, you listen to that?" And I was like, "Yeah." That hurt.
How long ago was that?
That was like, I think either it's the 6th or the 8th grade. I remember that a lot.
Okay, in middle school. Oh, that's terrible. You were so offended, huh?
Yeah.
I really did not. I did not know of Jossie back then at all, y'all. But that's funny. But I mean, do you even watch anime?
No.
That's so offensive. I'm so sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, even though we didn't really know each other like that, obviously in middle school, I was definitely not who I am today, and like I have seen a huge change in myself and my outlook, my mindset, my personality since middle school. And like a lot of it is just I gained a lot of confidence, I learned my self-worth, and I like stopped letting other people dictate like how I viewed myself. And like I definitely like even like looking back on me, like in all my little heartbreak moments that I went through, and now I'm looking down and I'm like, shoot, I'm glad those things happened, like those things, they made me who I was, they helped me develop this attitude, and now in the future I'm happier because that happened to me. So I think about that a lot. Like I would definitely tell myself, like just be who you are, and just don't worry about other people, and just like honestly, confidence is key. Like even when I wasn't that confident, if I just acted like it, if I just held my head a little bit higher, people notice that and they start to treat you with more respect. And as soon as I realized that if I treat myself with respect, other people will treat me with respect. So I just started treating me so good. I started treating me better than anybody else could treat me. So then every time, I can't be disappointed by you, because anything you can do for me, I can do for myself, and I can do it better. Right. So it's just like, it's kind of a good, it's almost protective of like myself and my energy, but also just being okay with letting certain things happen, like letting yourself go through a hard time, or letting yourself be sad, or letting yourself experience stuff that's rough, because at the end of the day I already know like I'm gonna be good. Like I know I'm gonna be good. So this is just, it's just part of the little process there. So to, yeah, just kind of tell myself to hold in, like, you know, hang in there. Like it gets better with time. Like 100% agree with this song. The song probably helped me with that mindset as well. Just listen to that every single day, be like, shoot, must get better.
It's gotta, right?
It's gotta, I guess.
A lot of that is like advice I could take now. That was really cool. For me, I think for me, the what I would speak to and when I would speak to is, I guess, maybe beginning of high school. At that moment, I feel like with the pandemic, it really was the catalyst for a lot of change in myself, and a lot of, you know, both positive and negative. Like, I'm kind of antisocial now, and that's
For
like,
sure, me too.
so I can't really, that's not a positive change, but like a lot of the positive stuff, maybe I would like go back in time and like try to make that happen before the pandemic, so that
I
like
see.
a global plague didn't have to be the catalyst for my self-improvement. And that's
Yeah.
not what I have to associate that with. Yeah, just there's a lot of stuff about me that I don't think I liked, and a lot of stuff I knocked off, and I just wish I didn't wait till the pandemic to do that, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like
Almost wasted time.
wasted potential, right?
Like,
That's like exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. On the song "Stay the Night," Sid and I say selfishly when I write the question. I mean selfishly more in like a ironic sense.
yeah, I got
maybe.
you. I got you.
Like, well, but Sid selfishly asks her partner to stay home instead of going to a local protest, which isn't exactly said in the song, but in interviews she says, yeah, that's what this song is about.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But she says this fearful for her safety. And could you tell me about a time when your feelings got in the way of your feelings and the greater good got in the way of each other, and how that played out?
Yeah, man. This is a funny question almost. For sure, like I have always been very emotional, like a very emotional person, and that's in all kinds of ways. You know, there's multiple ways to be emotional, like emotionally sensitive. Like, yes, I mean, I'm the baby of 11 siblings. Like, I was always getting picked on. My oldest sibling was gonna be like 30. Like, we got a huge age gap, like, you know. And I
Wait, pause. That's a lot of siblings.
You didn't know that?
Never. I mean, I think I have 3 sisters, and my youngest sister, and my oldest sister are like a decade apart. They're 9 years. How old is your oldest sibling?
Shoot, that is to the point that I don't even know like that. I mean, my oldest sibling, I never even met her.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
like I'm from one of those black families where the dad just kind of slings around, and I luckily with my mom, like that's when my dad finally settled down. So I grew up with both my parents married in the household, like super Christian, with my sister who's my only full sister. But all of my other siblings are either half siblings or kind of like god siblings. Like, you know how black people, we just like into
Yeah.
our people, kind of like that's my aunt, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my sister. But like I really grew up with them, so I really consider them my sisters. I have 3 siblings like that like aren't technically like aren't blood, but like those are my siblings, you know.
basically.
So yeah, I got a lot of siblings for
I
sure,
forget what
and
we
I'm
were
the
even
baby.
talking about.
We were talking about Stay the Night,
No, we were talking about. Yeah, we were. You're right.
right?
Correct,
Okay, I was like, wait, we were. Yeah, so I bring that. Why did I? Oh, because I was talking about being emotional. That's why. Okay, so like sensitive. Like, yes, like I was always the baby. They was always bullying me. They didn't want me to be around, and so like I was really sensitive. But then it kind of made me be more aware. Like now, like people, it's really hard to hurt my feelings now unless like I really really care for you, because I can tell when somebody's trying to hurt my feelings. And if you're sitting here trying to hurt my feelings, like I'm a be dumb to let you do it, you know. I'm gonna just laugh because like you're really sitting here trying to hurt my feelings. So like now I've definitely like grown thicker skin because of that, but also just like emotional intelligence, you know. Like I mean, not to be say it, but like I'm low-key an empath. No, I'm just like I mean, I'm a little bit of an empath. Like I can tell when I can just pick up on people's vibes. Like always, like I'm always just paying attention and like trying to move carefully around other people and like their vibes and their feelings and their energies. So that emotional awareness, like, okay, wait, why are we talking about being emotional? Let me see. Stay the night. Okay, yes,
Right,
how my
right.
feelings got in the way of each other. So very emotional person, but I also have a very strong set of morals at the same time. And so honestly, I would just say just growing up in general, like I come from a very conservative background, but it's like a conservative background that has seen the ugly side of the world. And so it's not like, so they know like it's just it's kind of like a different kind of strict, where it's like we're strict because we did all that stuff and we don't want you to do it. We want you to make better decisions and stuff. So I grew up kind of conservative, and like honestly, like I had a lot of feelings about a lot of different topics about myself, the things that I was doing. I mean, always can circle back to sexuality, or just, you know, growing up and being a teenager and like having new experiences, trying different things out. Like a lot of that, like you can carry, I carried a lot of guilt with it, you know, a lot of guilt, a lot of like, when I was younger, my parents basically told me what I was supposed to be like when I was grown, and if I didn't fulfill that, like it like really weighed on me. And so having to like I kind of like I was kind of in a little battle between like my feelings and what I felt like I really wanted, and then like thinking about my background and like how those two things can coexist, you know. And I definitely think that I was struggling with that for a long time, but I am past it to a point where I feel like now I have found that middle ground, that compromise where I can still like honor my morals, and but also like understand that just because I grew up with something doesn't necessarily make it right, you know? And I can never know if something's right until I find it out myself and explore it myself. And so, yeah, I definitely feel like those things definitely got in the way with my life and my experiences and my interactions with people. And now I feel like I've kind of grown past that now.
Right, right. I like your answer. As
Thanks,
per
Chelsea.
usual, I don't think I dislike answers on this show. Yeah, I would say I like the angle you took where you like you want to make sure you know things for you and not because somebody else told you about it. You're a very smart person. You're smarter than me even, which I know is hard to do. No, I'm pretty dumb actually. But it's just like a lot of you're like dropping bombs here. That's
You
all
didn't
I'm
you didn't
saying.
know I had all this in me, Chelsea?
No, you can tell when you look at someone like you. Yeah, they're a smart person. It's just like when you actually sit down and talk with someone, like you gain a lot. That's what I'm saying. I'm gaining a lot from this.
Thank you. I
should be
will
taking
say
notes.
I definitely had a lot of influence. Being that younger sibling, I got to be around a lot of older people a lot of the times who were comfortable having these talks with me. And so like one of like my big brother that I'm the closest to, he's one that I'm not actually related to. I met him when he was 18. He was a family friend, and he had OD'd on like Xanax or something like that, and that's how I met him. Or no, it was acid. And that's how I met him when I was like 13. We're in like 6th or 7th grade. That's when I met my brother. And then he was supposed to leave, and then he ended up staying with us, and that became my brother. Like we bonded so quickly. But so he's going through this like these withdrawals. He was having what's that condition where it's like it's kind of like you're having an out of body experience, like you feel like you're watching your life through like a TV screen, or
Like disassociative.
that's
something.
it, exactly, disassociate. He was disassociating for like months, and like it was summer, and like he was the only person that I hung out with. So I'm like 13 years old with this 18-year-old kid who like I've just grown, like just he's treated me better than any of my other brothers. Like I feel closer, I feel like he cares about me and like more than my other blood related brothers, and we just immediately got close. And he's just sharing everything with me. So I had a lot of people that I got to absorb from. Same thing, my two older cousins, Mikey and Kiera, two lesbian cousins that I always looked up to when I was younger, when I wasn't out, and they didn't care. They were themselves. People in my family would, say stuff about it, and they didn't care. They were just themselves, and then they would come and hang out with me, and like I felt cool, and so I've got to have a lot of these conversations with a lot of people. And so I can't say I'm not just smart, I just got lucky to get those experiences and at such a young age.
Right.
So but I appreciate that. And like, yeah, we haven't really like had a sit down convo. Like we've talked briefly about this kind of stuff. Like I could tell you were like similar to me, like similar like topics and stuff, but honestly we don't talk like that. So this has been interesting interesting to hear for sure.
Well, I mean, with that, who would you recommend this album to? Who is it for, do you think?
Definitely if you feel like you're a little bit different than your peers, whether that be you just have different interests, whether I definitely think it's a black kid album. Like if you are a black indie kid, you feel like you're just kind of searching for more, you find yourself being unfulfilled with like the lyrics of the music nowadays, and like you're just kind of wanting more. Maybe if you like older music, and like I feel like this is the album that'll help you figure stuff out about yourself. If you're wanting to grow, if you're willing to grow, and you listen to this album and you absorb everything, like it's definitely gonna get you on the right track. So people, black kids, or just marginalized, or just maybe you're a little weird, maybe you're a little different than your peers, that are like wanting to get introspective, wanting to get to know themselves and figure out who they are. Like I feel like even if it's not the specific lyrics guiding you, just the vibe and the energies of the people in these making these songs, like it'll definitely help you along the way.
I feel like the same. Like that's who it's for. That's who it's for. It's gone. I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's gone.
All right, for our very last question, it's not on the list.
No worries.
Yeah, what are you passionate about? And just like separate from the album, what are you passionate about? Talk about that for a little bit.
That is a very interesting choice for you
to
ask that at the end, and I appreciate that, because if whoever's listening to this, they're probably like, forming their own little version of me right now, and like my interests and who I am. And now I'm about to tell y'all just who I am. But passions and interests, like definitely always, like I'm very into creatives, but I'm more into like I would love to do art, but I kind of suck at art right now, but I think I could get there. But I could be an art girl, but I ain't. Right now I'm more into, I love words, I love writing. I'm about to be an English major at University of Redlands. Let's go. Right. So I love to write, and that's part of why I love music, is because I like to listen to music that sounds like writing. So definitely passionate just about my music. Like you can tell that, like I love my music. And then of course, like Jossie mentioned, I'm president of BSU, and so I'm very passionate about, at least in the communities that I'm in, like basically creating that like a safe space for Black students. And just like we have a very small percentage of Black students at our school, and like I think for a long time I felt like we're the only ones, like me and my friend, like me and Arya, or like whoever I was with, like it's just us. And then so kind of making that space for everybody to come together, where we're gonna be like, oh, we're us, we got a us now, like it's not just us.
I know exactly that's exactly how I felt. Right? It's and a like, weird thing, this school. Yes,
for sure. But then also just overall like activism, just like outreach, I'm very opinionated. I like to talk about like politics and just about social issues, and I'm always trying to advocate for whatever I believe is true. And so I'm very hard-headed. I'm a Capricorn. I was born, not just saying, but yeah, like I'm definitely heavy into my activism and my advocacy, and trying to explore that some more. And I'm also very interested, I'm also part Native American, so there's not that much resources here, especially at this school, because there's no other Native Americans. But going into college, I'm definitely also going to get more involved. Like, I'm going to be in my Native American student union, and so I'm going to be able to dip more into that culture, which I'm excited for as well. So yeah, it's still a work in progress, but right now I have an idea of the things that feel fulfilling to me, and I'm just kind of running with that. I'm just kind of raw dogging it with my little passions.
God, why would you say that?
I'm so sorry.
That last part was uncalled for.
I think of that word with a different definition. I'm just doing it, you know?
Just
doing it. Just like whatever. It might not make sense. I can't put together the plan, but I will end up somewhere. So, and as long as I'm somewhere, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Right. That is a beautiful note to end on. This has been the Turntable Talk. My name is Jossie Nettles. Her name is
Juleia Smith.
Correct. And we're away.
We're away. Thank you.